Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. Today we have a doozy for you. So get some popcorn, sit back, because this one's going to be a fun discussion. If you want to join in the comments section, I'd love to hear from you. Here we go. Topic of the day, Rockstar versus Bethesda. Who am I picking? Ooh, see, this one's tough, man. I got to admit, we're talking about two of my three favorite developers, with CD Projekt Red being the other one, and that being third. So, like, oh my God, when we're talking Bethesda versus Rockstar. These two developers changed gaming for me for the better and the worse. The better, and they made me love gaming more than I'd ever loved gaming before and get more immersed in a game than I'd ever been before. The worst being that I really don't enjoy anything else anymore. Like, and I try so hard, but every time I play anything, I just miss, like, these developers and the way they build things. I just can't get around that. They build stuff to such a high level of openness and freedom and beauty and just quest and getting lost in these worlds that it's just so hard to play anything else if you like the kind of stuff I like. You know, I love open world role-playing games with choice and consequences at times for said choices is fine too, but choice and freedom and looting and shooting and oh my God, it's just so hard to beat, like Rockstar and Bethesda. And rightfully so. I mean, we're talking about some of the largest studios in the world, right? We're talking studios that have budgets and timelines like no one else. I mean, Bethesda and Rockstar both have this ability to spend 10 plus years on games and spend hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars on one particular game. You know, GTA 6 has, like, spent millions of dollars on the water physics alone. They have a whole team for water physics. You know, like, no indie developer can do this. Like, nobody can do this kind of stuff. So, like, the products that come out of these guys is most of the time nothing but astounding. I mean, people want to poke all the time that Bethesda's fallen from claim, that, you know, Rockstar is not what it used to be. But the reality is, like, I think a lot of it's because you're comparing it to other Bethesda or Rockstar titles, and you're not comparing it to, like, the industry as a whole. These behemoth companies build the most heavy-hitting, beautiful games that are out there, in my opinion. And they both have their strengths and weaknesses, but, you know, at the end of the day, and this may be, I don't know where people land on this, but for me, and you may know this based on my channel and the videos I've been making lately, but arguably at the same time, Rockstar doesn't give me anything new to make. I'm going with Bethesda. And here's my take. And like I said, if you don't agree, which I'm sure like at least half people watching this aren't going to agree with this particular one, let me know why. But Rockstar has a beautiful, beautiful polish to their games beyond Bethesda. The way things feel, the way things react, the way things look. Red Dead Redemption, for example, was probably one of the most beautiful looking and feeling games ever produced. To this day, Red Dead Redemption is a game that, you know, when we're doing benchmarks on our new computers, you know, or we're watching reviews on new computers, at least, let's say, either or, Red Dead and Cyberpunk, and there's a couple games like that people still to this day, and Red Dead's like 10 years old, are still going back and going like, oh, this is how my brand new 5090 PC, right, with an i9 Ultra is running a 10-year-old game. Like, that's just the standard the thing was built in, that to this day, there isn't a lot of things with the graphical prowess of Red Dead Redemption 2, or that can test your hardware in the way Red Dead Redemption 2 does. And the thing's 10 years old. And, like, I'm sure someone's going to be like, what about this? What about that? I'm sure there's a few things, but you get the point. The point is, we're talking about a 10-year-old game. When we're talking about, like, Fallout 4, for example, which is about 11 years old now. My PC has hybrid mode and doesn't kick in the GPU if it doesn't need it, and Fallout 4 it doesn't even recognize as a game. It just does the integrated graphics card at like 250 frames per second and like 3% CPU. You know what I mean? Like 10% GPU. Like you get the point. Like it doesn't even realize it's a game anymore, and yet Red Dead Redemption to this day is still impressive, to say the least. So when it comes to like the polish of a Rockstar game, you know, GTA 5 is still beautiful. Red Dead Redemption is still beautiful. And GTA 6 is probably going to be the most graphically marvelous game that we've ever experienced. The fact that it's going to come out running 30 frames per second because hardware doesn't exist in the console market. And I don't know whether they should just release it for consoles, another argument. Like, I don't think they should. I think they should be for PC too. But I'm sure there's some PC rigs that can surely run it higher. It just shows that like they're pushing the limits of what we can do right now on affordable hardware, at least. And we're probably not going to get a really smooth running GTA 6 until next gen. But and candidly, if they keep pushing it, maybe they'll just release it on next gen. But I doubt it, because like they wouldn't get as many sales because nobody's going to have the next gen stuff. So they're probably going to do the same thing they did with GTA 5, where they released it late in generation and then re-released it on the new generation as like a better version. But yeah, I'll just stay there of like Rockstar, very open, very fun, very dynamic play, and arguably the most beautiful polished games on the planet, in history, whatever you want to say. Bethesda, not as much in that department. Bethesda in that department has the Bethesda jank a little bit. Still a little glitchier, still a little goofy at times. I don't think it's as graphically pleasing as the Rockstar titles. I think Starfield made a lot of steps in the right direction, and you can throw as much shade at me as you want on, Starfield, whether it is what it could be, but it doesn't change the fact that the game is beautiful, and the game runs a lot smoother with the right hardware and stuff, sure, but in general, a lot less buggy, a lot smoother gameplay, a lot of improved dynamics. It feels a lot better than any other Bethesda title ever has in that respect. And if you don't believe me, play Starfield for a few hours and then go back and play Fallout 4 and Skyrim, and you will immediately see a huge, huge difference in the way those two games play. And they should, right? I mean, like, it's 20 years newer than it's not 20. I'm sorry. Skyrim was 2011. It's 14 years newer than Skyrim, and 10 years newer than Fallout, 11 years newer than Fallout 4. So in all fairness, that math's still wrong, actually, because something in 2025. Starfield came out in 2023. So you get the point, though. It's a lot newer. It's around a decade newer on both of them or more. So, like, you get the point of, like, it should feel better, but it definitely does feel better, but it doesn't feel Rockstar. You go from, Red Dead to Starfield, or Cyberpunk to Starfield, both of which are a little more polished yet, and there's definitely a difference in that regard. There's no doubt about that. But that is where it ends, right? And that's where this begins. If you stayed this long already, I appreciate you. But let's talk about why I think Bethesda is better than Rockstar. And like I said, that doesn't come easy to me. Like, Rockstar is very beloved to me as well. The looting system in Bethesda, the looting shooting systems in Bethesda has this ability to literally, like, grab anything off of anyone at any time you want. So, like, you can actually, like, when you kill an enemy, you can go up to the enemy and you can take their hat, their sunglasses, their gun, their ammo, any other thing. You can claim it as your own. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but it is extremely addicting to be able to create your own character. We'll get into that in a second. But to equip yourself with any of the items in the world. Let's talk about character creation next. Character creation itself. Red Dead, GTA, it's always sucked. It's not good. It's never been good, or it doesn't exist. In the main stories, it doesn't even exist. In Red Dead Redemption, I'm stuck playing as this bearded old cowboy guy that I don't want to be. Cool storyline. In GTA, I'm stuck being these three characters I don't want to be. Their online versions allow you to create characters. The character creators could be better, to say the least. For example, in GTA Online, one of the highest grossing, I think the highest grossing piece of media of all time, I can't adjust my character height. I can't my female model is bigger than the male model because they use the male model dimensions so the hitbox would stay the same. And you look like you have these behemoth Amazon women. Nothing wrong with that if you're into that, but from like just being able to like create the character you want to create, you can't really do that. You can change the face, on the male or the female. You can change the face somewhat if you can get it to work. And you basically are going to need a tutorial to make anything that looks like anything because it's very confusing. It's very tedious. And then Red Dead comes along and it's the same shit. It's not good. It's not good at all. And the single player experience, you don't have this option at all. So that's no good. That sucks. That could be better. That's not changing in GTA 6. It does look like they have some pretty cool character models for the main characters this time around. I'm hoping the online modeling is much better and the character creation is much better. If you want me to live in this world for the next few years, you want me to be able to role play in this world, being able to create a character that looks like I want a character creator would be really ideal, to say the least. Another thing with Bethesda that's better is the way they handle items. So every item in the Bethesda universe, and this is something kind of cool about Creation Engine in general that people like to poke at that all the time, but the reality is Creation Engine allows you to do these things that like most engines don't, one of which is like items and the way they're handled and the physics of them. In Bethesda games, items are like really a main piece of it. Everything from their placement to it's not like a set. You can go and touch it and move any item in the game, keep it, modify it, turn it around, bring it with you, potentially use it depending on what item it is, maybe break it down for other items. But like their item management is just unparalleled too. And it really makes for a more immersive world. I mean, like in the real world, if I go see a lamp and I want that lamp, I can take that lamp. I can knock that lamp over. I could put that lamp on somebody else's head. I don't know. You can't do that in Rockstar games. Everything are like static sets that look beautiful, but they're not interactive. And I think that's like a huge piece too. And then the other thing with Bethesda, man, I think poke it or not, but the modding ability of the Creation Engine is amazing. And it's open to everybody. And like everybody can experience these mods because they're plug and play and built right into the main menu. Like even console players can go and they can like select how to tailor their game to them. And Rockstar doesn't do this either. I can't decide to put like a jetpack on my cowboy in Red Dead Redemption because I want to make and have like alien bad guys and UFOs shooting at me because I want to make some cowboy versus alien type of saga. In Bethesda, you can. And man, I think it's like the plot that people miss when we're bashing on Bethesda in general is that piece. That like I think this is like from afar from people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Because the reality is like if you get into it and you really start to understand it, you start to understand that what a Bethesda game is a game that's tailored to you. And out the box vanilla mode, it's like any other game, beyond all those other strengths and things I just said. But if you use the creation section or you go on Nexus mod, if it's a PC, you're going to find that like you can completely change that game into whatever you want it to be. In Skyrim, if you want something more Lord of the Rings-ish, you can make that. In Fallout, if you want something more Walking Dead, you can make that. In Starfield, and I'm just trying to think of things that are kind of like similar to the theme. It goes way beyond this, but in Starfield, if you want it to be a Star Wars game instead, it can be. In Rockstar games, sure, there's a PC modding community for Rockstar games, and if you know how to use these specific PC mods that go into your specific game files and you want to tweak with that stuff, sure, there's some stuff. But you don't have marketplaces like Bethesda does. They just leave that open to every player to cater their experience. And I think nobody is doing that to the level of Bethesda. And tell me I'm wrong in the comment section and tell me why. But in my opinion, like, nobody is doing it to the level they are. So it's a crazy level. And then choices and consequences. Bethesda is this thing, and their games are this thing that like make me so happy, because you can do like the dumbest, silliest, quirkiest things ever. Like, you can run straight paths. Like in Fallout 4, I remember this particular quest where it was like between the Institute and I believe the Minutemen. And like, I chose like one side, and then like after the dialogue, like I just like turned on the other side, and like the reaction of the characters, and I just remember like dying laughing. And I remember like keeping one of the hats off of one of these random characters too. It was like, everything's killable, any choice is the direction you want to go. It just creates this crazy experiences that are really unparalleled. And like, people will compare like Breath of the Wild to Skyrim and act like it's a better game. And I don't want to get on topic because but it's just for giving Bethesda props here. Not talking, Nintendo versus Bethesda here. But Breath of the Wild is so limited in like what you can actually do. And then let's talk about this like final piece of Bethesda, like all the quests, the side quests, the characters you can meet in that world. Like, when you're in a Bethesda world, you just walk around and you hear all these random conversations, like if you're in a city, and you can walk up to people and you can interact with people, and then you end up in all these random obscure directions. And I think Rockstar does this okay, but I don't feel nearly as immersed. I feel like there's so many more characters and quests and factions and all this kind of neat stuff in Bethesda titles that Rockstar's got some of, right? Like, when you're in a Rockstar map, 90% of those characters are fake, like fill-in type characters, and here and there, like in GTA 5, there'd be like a blue dot and be like, hey, this one character out of 1,000 you can interact with and do a potential quest or something for, right? In Red Dead, it's like, yeah, sure, when you're in the middle of the woods and you run into that character, maybe you can do something with that character, right? But you're talking like densely populated worlds in Bethesda a lot of time, like you would get in a GTA, except like the amount of people you can interact with and do things with is just crazy. It's crazy, and it's unparalleled. And I think people miss that. So you know what, guys? It's been almost 19 minutes. If you're still here, like, thanks so much for staying around. We make commentary videos like this a lot, specifically Bethesda stuff most of the time. But, I can't say, like, I won't be playing GTA 6. I think the world will be, so, like, I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more. But mostly this is a channel about Bethesda stuff. If you've enjoyed this commentary, if you have anything to add to the conversation, I'd love to hear from you. I really appreciate you staying around as long as you have. Super duper cool. So beyond that, thanks for staying around. Consider subscribing if you want. Give me a like, comment in the comment section. I reply to everybody. I love the conversation. I love the dialogue. I'll debate with you if you want to debate. If you want to. It's going to be friendly. Like, I appreciate it. I love comments and be able to speak to people about this stuff. And I think you're not going to get a very, like, defensive me on either side of this because, even though I'm, like, huge fan of Bethesda games, I also really love Rockstar games. Like I said, the top 3 developers, we're talking in my order now that we've had this conversation: Bethesda, Rockstar, CD Projekt Red. So, like, you're not going to be like, this is great about Rockstar, and me be like, no, F you. Like, no, the Rockstar is amazing. We could talk for 2 hours about why I love Rockstar too, right? But, I just thought it was kind of a fun topic. It came up on an internet forum. I thought it was kind of fun. I thought it was worth posting a video over. Anyway, guys, if you stuck around this long, thank you. I appreciate you. Leave a comment in the comment section if you want to join this conversation. I'd love to hear from you. It'll always be friendly. Have a wonderful gaming day, and we'll talk soon.